What's up, everybody? How are we all doing tonight? We are live at Silverstone tonight. Already on board with the drivers here. We're finishing up qualifying, but we are going to be at Silverstone tonight in England for the British Grand Prix. I think our lap count is off. It is not a 21 lap. I want to say it was 18 lap and 6 lap race for today. Winds 4 miles an hour, humidity 55, 78 degree temperature, and track temp is 70 degrees. So it's morning time here in the UK. We are going to be getting warmer as the day goes on and sun comes out. So look for grip to start to slip just the tiniest bit. It won't be a huge loss in grip, but these drivers will see a slip in time, maybe overall the full session, maybe a second and a quarter or so, from beginning qualifying times on low fuel to end of the session times in the sprint race. But as we look right now, let's take a peek see, and you look right now we have Lucas Lins up in first, Easton Chiapoloni second, James Molaire in third, Jake Potts in fourth, Jeff Schroeder in fifth, Marion Barbaro in sixth, and Ricardo Marchi in seventh. And that's all I'm going to have time to read off there. Danny O'Keefe eighth, Andy Miller in ninth, Patrick Olson in 10th, Alexander Shannon in 11th, Joaquin Floatman 12th, Frank Beezer 13th, Paul Ayala 14th, John Journey 15th, Jan Turvo 16th, Luke Mitchell 17th, Arturo Mayorga 18th, Randolph Smith 19th, Tristan Marshall 20th, Jackson Carr 21st, Elmer Alberg in 22nd, Jack Clark in 23rd, Nick Marshall in 24th, and Weston Epps starting in 25th due to a qualifying ban. While we get the rest of the grid up and going, we have another 15 seconds, so we're going to cut to a commercial really fast.
Allow extreme scoring.
All right, that is our extreme scoring software. We are just about to go live here in really any moment. Waiting for the lights to go out. We're on Lucas Lins here, lined up in first, taking that pole position from Easton Chiapoloni. James Molaire, one of our fastest drivers we've seen this season, but just seems to miss a couple races here and there due to real life commitments and bad starts. Ooh, and we see a bad start in back with one of the Team Banana racers. Keep an eye on the front of the pack here. We've been pretty good with yellows, this season, and I don't think we are going to get through without a yellow, as we see Joaquin Floatman backwards, Jackson Carr coming back onto the track. Let's jump back up to the front of the pack. More people going off. It's looking like we might get a little bit of a yellow here. And as of right now, not yet. We're all going down straight, and it looks like ours are slowing down, so it looks like we are getting a yellow flag to start the race. And what a start to the race it was there. We had a couple gains and losses here. Let's see. So we had Ricardo Marchi going up into 4th place from 7th. We had Alexander Shanna stayed where he was at. Patrick Olson stayed where he was at. Andy Miller. Marion Barbaro dropped down 2 places from 6th down to 8th. Big mover Weston Epps down from last up into 17th, so that's a big jump for Mr. Weston Epps there. Big losers so far due to this caution. We have Paul Ayala down 6 places and caught up in turn 1. Joaquin Floatman down 11 places. He is the unfortunate loser of that turn 1 incident. We have Jackson Carr down 3 places as well in the back. Go through our race lineup here. We have Lucas Lins out in front. Chiapolone right behind him. In that Game Stonks green car. James Molaire in that Knox black and light blue. Ricardo De Marchi in the yellow and black of the Cabral Racing. Sim Racing. Jake Potts in the Knox vehicle as well in 5th. Jeff Schroeder in 6th, currently in the Lumos white and gold livery. Danny O'Keefe in the Orion red and gold. Beautiful livery there. Marion Barbaro sitting there in the Get Good vehicle. They are missing their main driver that's up in the top splits, normally racing in the officials and doing some damage here to some of the field and leading our championship, Tieko Kriegsman. He is not here this week, so he will be missing out on a good racing opportunity to get some points and to fend off the Knox team, who is currently not far behind them. I think they're 1 point behind. Andy Ray Miller in that red, almost Red Bull, looks like it says Red Bull on their vehicle. Patrick Olson, one of our favorites, the Team Banana. Lime green this season to stand out from all the yellow we got on track. Patrick Olson, look at him down there. He looks like he could do some damage if you get in his way in the car. Alexander Shanna, once again in the Lumos gold and white. Then the Beezer Racing team, Frank Beezer in the yellow and blue there. Mitchell right behind him. Running as a privateer. Earl Mayorga, Blue Frog Racing. I love their livery as well. That white, yellow, and blue. John Journey in the white and gold. Tristan Marshall back there in a Blue Frog livery. Right there in the 114 car. Weston Epps behind him in the Knox vehicle there. You can see that shine in the sunlight. There's morning sun coming up with a little bit of, you see that like haziness. Crowd ain't having it. Randolph Smith in the Mercury Motorsports, followed by Paul Ayala, also Mercury Motorsports. With Blue Frog and Nick Marshall back here, and then we have our big losers with not Yalmer Alberg, but Joachim Flodman. Right here, get tangled up in turn 1 with his teammate Yalmer Alberg. Excellent car right here. Normally this is going at a lot faster speed, so this would be a little bit better of a view. Get a bunch of grass in the meantime, but Jackson Carr losing out there as well, down 2 positions. You know, he has a lot more in him than just that. And we see Jack Clark for the Get Good Racing team back in 24th. He is dropped down 1 position from where he had started. He's the 3rd member of the Get Good Racing squad, who is currently leading the team standings. We'll jump back up to our leaders. We should be going green. Looks like maybe Chiapolone. Nope, he did not pit. It looked like he was going down the pit lane there for just a second. We have 1 more lap under the caution. Let's pop up our race info tab. Let's see here. Looks like track temp is staying the same. Partly cloudy, 4-mile-an-hour wind still. We are staying exactly the same. We're just excited to see some of these drivers. A lot of these drivers going into the pits. Paul Ayala. And getting caught up in turn 1. Paul Ayala, looks like John Journey, Arturo Mayorga, all in the pits, getting damage done, and Journey lets Mayorga go. Not sure who was first out of the pits. They rejoin, they'll get all shuffled back into the pack here. Fresh new cars and a little bit more more of a safe start here with a rolling start that we'll get behind Lucas Lins. Let's hope that we can keep things rolling and going on track. Right now we can pop up our pit strategy. Looks like our pit strategy, nobody's really moved around. Keep an eye on our sector times. Keep an eye on the speed of Lucas Lins as we get going here. Pace car only goes at 50 miles an hour. We always want it to go a little bit quicker. We'd love for it to go, 100 miles an hour, get these laps done that much faster, get people through and into the pits and everything back and running green, within just a minute or two. But obviously, we're 3 laps in and almost 8 minutes on the clock now, so we don't like to see it, but cautions are a part of Formula racing. They change up your strategy, mix things up quite a bit. But while we are waiting for the safety car to come back around, I'm going to throw on our commercial for the Extreme broadcasting software. Once again, this is how we do everything that we need to do for our back end on the league.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Alright, and we are back, and while we are waiting to go through, we're going through Maggots and Beckett's here, I would like to thank our sponsors. We have Prix Sim Racing. Go check them out at capral.store. And then we have Butt Kicker. They provide us with a few Butt Kicker units at the end of the season, and they are awesome. If you guys haven't had one or tried one out, Butt Kicker is essentially a subwoofer you attach to your chair or your racing rig, and it gives you a whole new level of immersion that really, gives you the feel of driving over those curbs, those bumps, and really gives you the real feel of a car and being in the car. And then we have Extreme Scoring, which we just showed. They are great for their software, their back-end stuff. It's as easy as dropping a file into an internet browser to update your scores and get everything rolling the way that it should. So they are a godsend to us in the league and to the admin, how we get things going. But we have Lucas Lins at the helm here. Safety cars into the pits. See all those cars backing up. Let's see how he plays this. He is just going to go right away and get a big jump on everybody, but Ison Chiapolone is hot on his heels. Everybody getting away pretty good. Dre Miller, Patrick Wilson, Alex Shanna going side by side down the straight. These are cold tires, mind you. Shanna has to back out slightly, gets a little bit of a slide. We have a couple more. Jackson Carr, Jack Clark, and Arturo Mayorga here getting all up in each other's business down the straight and the restart. Jump back up to our leaders. Chiapolone, James Moller right behind them. Danny O'Keefe. Danny O'Keefe is from Ireland, but I think this is the closest as we get to being a home race for Danny. O'Keefe is right on the muffler of Jake Potts here. We have Andy Ray Miller thinking better of it, going through cops. Not a huge difference in downforce like we normally see on some of these tracks. It's a great high-speed angle right there. And coming through Maggots and Beckett's here, coming out of the exit, we have, some of these cars are going to be able to get just a huge jump. And there's a couple of different ways you can take Maggots and Beckett's and really try and get yourself a good jump, but the ideal line will depend on your setup. Some people are running low, some people are running high on downforce. So we'll have to see what really plays out today, and which one is the dominant one. So it looks like most cars are running high. You see that big back wing. We see James Mollaire set the fastest lap of the race so far, and he's right on the leaders. Easton Chiapellone right there. We see Ricardo Marchi, James Mollaire, Easton Chiapellone, and Lucas Lins all within 2 seconds of each other between the 4 of them here. Looks like Potts is just starting to drop back slightly. Sister team Jeff Schroeder and Lumos right behind him going down the inside. See these guys hold it side by side. Get a good backdoor view here from Danny O'Keefe. O'Keefe is going to like the fighting that's going on in front of him, because that means that he's going to be able to close in a lot quicker. As we see coming into focus here, Lucas Lins still leading. We have Patrick Olson almost side by side with Marion Barbaro here. Patrick Olson going through cops, thinking better of any sort of move on Marion Barbaro. Right behind them we have John Turvo, Alexander Shannon, John Nicholas Journey, all going through Maggots and Beckett's right here. We have a couple different groups. We have the top group of 3, 4 right there, Ricardo Marchi. Then we have the second group led by Jake Potts. And then the third group, which is led by Andy Ray Miller. Fourth group, which is led by Alexander Shanna right now. So we have some splits kind of forming throughout the track. Joachim Flodman in the 5th one. But we have some nice tight racing between a couple different groups here. Ricardo De Marchi is going fastest so far in the race in 4th place, and he's trying to make up some time on teammate Lucas Lins, but more importantly getting a jump up on Easton Chiapellone and James Mollaire. Chiapellone is going to have a good run on Mollaire, going down into Brooklands here, and yep, they're going to think better of making any moves there. Not a really good spot to make any moves. We go farther back on the track, kind of getting chased down by Turvo. We have Frank Beezer right up in the action here as well. There's just so much action going on the track that it's hard to keep track of everything. Who's close and who's far, and everybody seems to be close as of right now, with Frank Beezer closing in on Patrick Olson. Cobb's such a hard turn to hit when you're on cold tires, but I think we're finally getting up to tire temps that are going to allow these drivers to just essentially send it full bore into the corner. And Andy Ray Miller is disconnected, maybe? Not sure what's going on with that. Jump back on board with Frank Beezer here. We have Chiapellone, only 2 seconds on the interval. Like I said, it's kind of hard to keep track of who's closest, because everybody just keeps fluctuating to be super close to being, maybe a half second off, to being, super close again to half second off. You can see these corners, how these drivers are taking them, how fast they're going. Right now, Chiapellone might be able to get a move done on Mollaire, depending on how well he can grab that slip. Driver's getting up well into the 140 range. Just touching 150 there for Chiapellone. Can't do it. Ooh, and Ricardo Marchi looks like he might have gone off. Like he did, and came back on the track a little bit farther down in 5th. He's driving against Jake Potts now. Jake is no pushover. He is going to fight hard for that 4th place position right now. here they go through Maggots, Beckett's. She has Jeff Schroeder right behind him, trying to pull out a little bit of extra speed with that slipstream that he has now. Gonna drop on down the track slightly to Patrick Olson, a couple spots back, right on the bumper of Marion Barbaro. We have Frank Beezer right behind him as well. In distance there, we see Alexander Shanna closing a little bit of gap. Yeah, Patrick Olson is our closest battle right here, getting a good jump on Marion Barbaro right now. 3/10 back from him. Such a high speed corner going into turn 1. Turn 2 also just flat out, and then we hit the brakes hard and go into the hairpin of turn 3. And ooh, Andy Ray Miller going way wide. Coming back onto the track. Looks like he's holding his own there, but yeah, he's definitely going to want to keep it clean. You know, those little mistakes that'll get you. Checking on our lead pack here. Leave Patrick Olson there. We have Ricardo Archie dropping out of those top 4. Still in 5th place, but dropped down quite a bit in the time scale. About 3 seconds back from these lead cars, as Lucas Linz is still out front. James Malaire in 2nd, and Easton Cipollone sitting in 3rd. Real close race. People up front just holding their own, and we see Marion Barbaro right on the tail of Andy Ray Miller. And this is where you're going to make up your time on your exit of Maggots and Beckett's. We see Andy Ray Miller getting over. A, getting around the lapped car, but B, trying to break that slip of Marion Barbaro. Marion trying to get as many points for his team as he can. We see Jeff Schroeder overtake Ricardo De Marchi going into the pits, it looks like. See a bunch of drivers overtaking here. A little bit wide there for Marion Barbaro. He's probably going to get a couple off tracks if he continues to do that. So there's some very, very competitive on their off tracks. You got to be real tight to the track without going off, but their off tracks are right on that point to where you can really push the car, and it's looking like with that the switchback almost angle there from Barbaro, he might be able to get a good run here on Andy Ray Miller. You know, Miller has that higher downforce, you can see on that wing almost the full Red Bull spelled out there. You can see Barbaro, he has a little bit less wing on his vehicle. Just the slightest bit. But that's the difference. A little bit down the straight, you'll see Barbaro close in down the straights, and Andy Ray Miller, he's going to have that grip through these high-speed corners and low-speed corners as he sends it through cops, no problem, flat out. But Barbaro gets a better release, and Barbaro's going to be going side by side down into Maggots. Ooh, coming through Beckett's. And Andy Ray Miller has that higher wing. He's going to be able to hold it a little better. Let's see what our release does here. Looks like a better release by Barbaro. Is he going to be able to track Miller down and get by him this lap? Looks like side by side, and Patrick Olson just, you know, sneaking up behind him there, getting a little bit closer than probably would like from Barbaro and Miller. All the cars really kind of closing in behind him. Side by side going into the final sector here. Ooh, a little bit of a touch it looks like, and Patrick Olson is going to go by. Wow, we saw this in real F1 at Silverstone where Lewis Hamilton went by on 2 cars going wide, and it looks like Patrick Olson almost gets the same exact move as Lewis Hamilton did real life. Just so happens that Patrick Olson backed off a little bit more. Lewis Hamilton real life, he held the throttle down, whereas Patrick Olson, he wants to finish this race. He wants as many points for the Banana team as possible. So he is going to Have Frank Beezer behind him, Marion Barbaro in front of him, and he's just trying to keep up in those points. Maybe set himself up for a nice start in the sprint. We are 10 laps in of 21, and it has just been action left and right. Lucas Linz less than a second away from Easton Chiappellone, and James Mollaire has dropped back. May have had a slowdown, may have had just a couple bad sectors there. Definitely has dropped back. Jeff Schroeder following Jake Potts, less than a second behind him. But our main battle is in the back here. Patrick Olson, Marion Barbaro, Andy Ray Miller, Frank Beezer here. Even looks like Shanna's starting to get a little closer. He was 3.3 seconds back at one point, only 1.8 right now. Jump back like Randolph Smith. He has a little bit of a tail with Luke Mitchell behind him. Luke racing with us last season a couple times. He'll be in and out this season as a privateer. But Jack Clark right here. Right in front, the last of the Get Good Racing squad. He's going to be racing for 12th at this point. Halfway through the race and sitting a little farther back than he would like. He's up 6 positions from where he started, so that is just to show to how well just a clean race can really boost your confidence and get you up into the points, at least in striking distance for the next race. See, it looks like Weston Epps might be going into the pits. Floodman still being chased. Jan Turvo behind him, getting closer and closer. See Patrick Olson. Lucas Linz just dropped, and it looks like, wow, Chiappellone got a move done down into Brooklands, and James Mollaire is going to like this as well, because James is going to see these two fighting, and that will be able to allow him to make up some time. You're just missing all the action here, guys. There's just too many cars making too many moves at too many different times. Frank Beezer closing the gap here. Alex Shannon 1.1 back from Beezer now. He was that 1.7 just a lap ago. So Beezer half second back from Olson, who's half second back from Barbaro, who's less than a second back from Miller. Check in with our racers down. Ooh, a little bit off track there. Down towards the bottom. Chiappellone got overtaken by Linz, and Chiappellone going to go around the outside, or at least he's going to try. Maybe he's going to do a little bit of a switch back here. No, he just sends it on the outside, a little bit wide. Might have gotten an off track there, but no slowdown. These two drivers are going to just try and keep it on track. James Mollaire making up a big amount of time. Right on the bumper now. We see it here. Marion Barbaro, Andy Ray Miller going into the pits. Marion Barbaro keeps going on. James Mollaire, blood's in the water, and he wants it really bad. Chiappellone in first. Lucas Linz in second. Mollaire less than a second behind. These two in front of him battling. That's going to give him, a big jump. Alex Shanna in the back, 11th right now with the fastest lap of the race with a 150. I wonder if that's going into the pits, because he's in the pits. I wonder if going into the pits gives you a couple second chop on the time. That would be a weird exploit. I have to watch that for future seasons. A, in qualifying, and B in during the race for the fastest lap. But Easton, he has Lucas Linz all over him. They're going to go side by side into Cops, and they are going to keep it on the track, letting it stick. James Mollaire still in third, trying to hunt down these two and find an opening. Hopefully, these cars all stay on track and stay, going the right way. We would hate to see some incidents like that, but as we see Linz go off just the slightest bit, Mollaire is going to try and capitalize. He's going side by side with Linz. Chiappellone pulling away slightly as a bad release by Linz, and he is going to be overtaken by Mollaire as of right now. And they're going to stick side by side going into the final sector here of the track. Oh my, I can't even keep up with all the action, guys. I'm going to jump back. Ricardo Dave Marchi side by side with Andy Ray Miller going through Maggots, Beckett's, Dick Potts in the pits. James Molaire continues on. His teammate, Jeff Schroeder and Danny O'Keefe. Danny O'Keefe right behind him. Wow. It's weird showing Danny O'Keefe in a different position. But yeah, Danny O'Keefe right behind Jeff Schroeder here. He's going to be trying to get a better release down the straight. It looks like he's gonna. He's got that wider angle. Better top speed than what Jeff Schroeder has right now. And he's got the slipstream, so this is going to be a huge jump for O'Keefe. Schroeder would love to keep in third, but pop up our pit lap and see when everybody has been pitting. Top 7, 8 have not pit, not quite yet. Lap 12 was Potts, lap 2 is Journey, he's going to have to pit again. Arturo Mayorga, lap 2, he's going to have to pit again. Archie, he might have to pit again. Lap 8, that's going to be cutting it close on the pit window. All these other cars down low, 12th, 11th, 11th, 12th for their pit lap. Hallberg, lap 2, he's going to have to pit again. Marshall, lap 4 and 3, also going to have to pit again. So, these drivers going to be pushing. Never know what's going to happen. Is the undercut going to work, or is the overcut going to work? We saw Lucas Lins dive into the pits early, and he is right now sitting a little farther back from where he would like. Actually, Lins has not pit yet. I don't know what I'm talking about. He might have had a slowdown. He's 6 seconds back from 4th place, Danny O'Keefe, and he is 3 seconds back from Molaire, or from Schroeder. So we see O'Keefe and Schroeder almost side by side coming through the final turn and going down the home stretch here. Throwing it into turn 1, just throw the car, hope it sticks. You're going top speed, not letting off the gas at all. That back end starts to go, that's the end, but these drivers know when and where this back end is going to be going. See Danny O'Keefe getting a better run out of the turn here. And Schroeder, he's definitely got the slip. He's right on the bumper. Not sure if he's going to be able to make it happen this time around. He goes down on the inside. Is he going to outbrake him? Looks like Danny O'Keefe might have it stuck in there, and he does. But Jeff Schroeder is not going to go so silently into the night. He has a better launch out of Brooklands here. Schroeder in the slipstream as well. He's not going to be able to make up that time going into Cops, maybe in Maggots and Beckett's. It looks like, ooh, yeah, he does make up a little bit of time. Can't go side by side with him. It's a little bit better of that idea, but number 15, number 92 giving us some real good action here as we're going to jump to... Actually, these guys are the closest battle on track. I was going to jump to another battle, but they seem to have separated a little bit. Jeff Schroeder in the slip. It's not going to look like he's making any progress there down the straight, but we'll go to John Journey, teammate of Jeff Schroeder, making a move on Joachim Flodman, and they come out of Beckett's there. It looks like Flodman might have a slowdown of some sort. He is definitely getting some slow speed. Jake Potts right behind him. He's pit already, but yeah, Flodman hasn't pit yet. Maybe he's running out of gas. That might be a thing that's going on too. He does come into the pits, so he might have been low on fuel. Just trying to coast down the backstretch just to get himself in there. And we see a lot of people down pit lane. Chiapalone, Molaire, O'Keefe, Olsen, Flodman, and Turvo all down the pit lane. See if we can get a better view that is not looking through the ground at the drivers here. There's Danny O'Keefe coming out in front of Journey, in front of Potts. Not that far in front of Potts, so Potts right behind him. Journey right behind him. Both have nice warm tires. Journey had pit lap 2, so his tires are well up to speed. He's going to have to pit one more time, but Jake Potts right behind him, pit lap 12. We're on lap 15 currently, so 3 laps of warm-up for Jake Potts behind. And John Journey going side by side with him. Journey is normally a mid-pack racer. He's sitting in that 14th to 10th area, fighting for points each week. Fighting to get into that pole position as well. So Jake Potts normally sitting up in that top 3 to 4 drivers. Journey knows that Jake is a little bit faster, so he's not going to fight him. He knows that's not his race. His race is, in the mid-pack. So, see a lot in Formula 1. Don't fight the people that you're going to be fighting later on in the race. You want to get to the end of the race. And Potts, a little bit of sliding going on there for Potts. Not sure if that's driving style or just a little bit of oversteer happening. But Danny O'Keefe going to be fighting him off. Potts qualified a little bit ahead of Danny O'Keefe, and he's going to really be hoping that his overcut works. Looks like the overcut was the way to go because O'Keefe was back from Potts. Either that or Potts had a bad pit stop time. Pop up the battle box here. This is the battle for 4th right now. Technically 4th. You see Linz come in, Schroeder come in, Marion Barbaro come into the pits. Earl Mayorga also in the pits. We're on lap 16 of 21. And all these cars are coming out of the pits side by side with each other. We have Journey trying not to get in the way of Jake Potts too much. Journey coming down the back straight now has Potts' number, and Lynn's right behind Potts, 1.3 seconds back. Journey, actually this is Schroeder out in front of Potts. Sorry, my bad. One of those Lumos cars. And Schroeder is going to be on cold tires, just coming out of the pits there. Potts is going to be able to make short work of him. Journey letting Lynn's by. Again, some smart racing from Journey. Let these faster cars pull him along a little bit. It's not his fight to try and block Lynn's. His team is fighting for. They're fighting for 3rd. They're doing the best of the rest, essentially, with Get Good Racing and Knox Racing being the top 2 teams by a fairly big margin. Those top drivers really standing apart from the rest. As we see Journey holding his own in 7th place here, following Lucas Linz. We're going to go to Potts, a couple positions ahead, making some progress, and we have Ricardo Marchi, and Alexander Shanna right there on the bumper of Andy Ray Miller. Miller, new to the series as of a couple weeks ago, and Shanna making the move on the inside of Linz, making that stick. Or not Linz, Ricardo Marchi. We have John Nicholas Journey finally into the pits. Shanna getting the move done on Marchi. Little squirrely there through the final sector. Jump up to our leader. Easton Chiapolone up in 1st. James Miller in 2nd. O'Keefe in 3rd. We've seen O'Keefe do this before. So close here going through the turn 1 and turn 2. Marchi going sideways. Just a little bit of a bump into Shanna. Maybe Shanna has some damage. Marchi just slocking it up going into turn 1. These drivers are fighting right here. Just cars everywhere. You look, you just got cars up the track, down the track, right on top of each other. Olsen, Miller, right behind them. Ricardo and Alexander right behind them. Beezer sniffing right behind them as well. Journey, he's a little bit back, but all these cars are really right on top of each other, and it's making for some good racing. As we see Olsen too, Patrick Olsen fighting Marion Barbaro going into Cops, whipping the car in there, trying to keep in that slipstream, but that slipstream gives a lot of disturbing air, picks up the car's front wing, makes it really, really hard to get through. We're going to see it again. Shanna right behind Marchi. 0.4 back. 0.3 now. He has the slipstream, as does Patrick Olsen. A couple car lengths ahead. Alexander Shanna trying to make the same move he made last lap. Not going to work this time around for Ricardo. This battle's been going on for a lap and a half here. See Jeff Schroeder making some progress on Jake Potts' sister teams, Knox and Lumos here. And Jeff Schroeder doesn't care. He's going to try and take that 4th spot from Jake Potts. Jake Potts is second for the championship behind T Echo, I think, by a handful of points right now. But T Echo missing this week is it's really going to shoot him in the foot. He's going to want to be here, and without himself being here, it's just 0 points for the week. We have 1 drop race for the season, so 9 total count out of the 10 races that we do. But if you miss a race, that's your automatic drop. That's not going to help you out in the long run. Jeff Schroeder right there in the pocket. Jake Potts just going along for the ride. Letting Potts eat up all the clean air there. He'll sit in the dirty air and get a little bit of a slip. You can see different driving styles from different drivers. Schroeder backing off. And Cops, it looks like Schroeder might have either some damage or he's got a slowdown or something. But he has a better release out of Maggots and Beckett's. Jake Potts just starting to get away from him. And Frank Beezer. Looks like Shanna had some sort of lockup or running wide, and Beezer is now right behind Shanna. This is with 3 laps left to go in the race. 0.4 seconds back. Schroeder is going to be sitting 0.5 seconds back, 0.6 now from Jake Potts. And Patrick Olson, he is sitting 0.6 back as well. Ricardo De Marchi, just so many cars right on top of each other. I can't believe how close all these cars are still late into the race. Everybody's racing for something right now. Miller's holding off Ricardo De Marchi. Marchi is well ahead of Shanna and Beezer, but Shanna's holding off Beezer. Journey trying to get by, looks like Yelmer Alberg there. Flodman trying to catch Journey. Weston Epps not having a good week. Had to start in the back for quali, and he has not been able to make up enough positions to get him into a good starting spot for the sprint race. Giappolone racing just to keep ahead of James Miller. Danny O'Keefe sitting in 3rd. Danny O'Keefe has proven that he is dominant on this track. He in previous seasons has taken 3rd and I believe 2nd as well here at Silverstone. Silverstone hits and he turns it up another notch. Racing side by side with the league champion 2 seasons ago, Caitlin Height, and I believe last season as well with the DriveX Motorsports guys. Potts not far behind him. Lucas Linz getting chased by Jeff Schroeder right now down the backstretch. And Jeff Schroeder going to make the move on Lucas Linz. On the outside, Linz, he almost taps him. He might have gotten a little bit of contact there as he pushes Jeff Schroeder a little bit wide. Schroeder able to keep right there on the bumper with him. We're going to jump to Olsen, going through the last complex here of the circuit. Schroeder right behind. We're making a move going down into turn 3. Linz on the inside, Schroeder on the outside right behind him. Linz gets a little bit loose. Schroeder might be able to capitalize on this with a good release down the straight, and it looks like he will be right in that slipstream. Linz gets forced to be way inside by Jeff Schroeder. Jeff Schroeder giving some good car position, not giving Linz anything to work with. That's going to slow Linz down quite a bit. We have Beezer as well chasing down Alexander Shanna. Shanna has him right in his mirrors. Great battles here at the end. Great job, guys. I can't stress enough. Oh, I think Beezer was getting a little sideways, but he catches it. Jump back up to Schroeder and Lucas Linz going side by side. Linz going wide in Cops, and he's going to have to, I don't think he's going to have to slow down, but he is definitely going to have to eat that curb a little bit. He might have some damage. Schroeder going to try and put as much of a gap as he can. Already 6/10, going up to 7/10 ahead. Chasing down Jake Potts now, so that battle might be done and over with. So we go to Patrick Olson, chasing down Marion Barbaro here. These are all for points, all these positions. Most of our other guys that are a little farther back are spread throughout the track. Olson coming through the final sectors here. Last lap of the race. Frank Beezer right on the tail of Alexander Shanna. Shanna is just trying to hold him off as much as he can. This is our closest battle on track. Actually, you have Potts, Linz, and Schroeder here going for 4th place. Let's see if anything gets jumbled and mixed up here. Keep an eye on Patrick Olson down in 8th, and Alexander Shanna and Frank Beezer down in 9th and 10th. This is for the last point. Alexander Shanna fighting Frank Beezer, and he's right on his tail. See if anything can get done there by Frank Beezer. Shanna not wanting to give up any room, kind of drift blocking there, and he keeps the inside. Taking that corner really close. Frank Beezer with the better exit. Ooh, this is going to be really close here coming into Cops, because Beezer has the run on Shanna. Will he try and make the pass? And he is going to try and make the pass on the inside. Can Beezer get it done on the last lap? And it looks like he does, but they're holding it. Shanna's still in front somehow. And they have Ricardo Marchi in 12th trying to get up to 10th to get that last point. Going through Maggots, Beckett's. Can they hold it? Gonna watch Patrick Olson has fallen back from his. We have Jeff Schroeder making his way behind Potts. Let's see if he tries to make any sort of dive bomb move here. Oh no, and Schroeder spins out in the final sector here. And he gets going again right in front of Marion Barbaro, who's going to take 7th. Patrick Olson 8th. And Shanna is going to hold off Beezer and Ricardo De Marchi. Wow. 1, 2, 3 right there across the line, all within a 10th of each other. Just wow, what an ending here. See the last couple cars coming across. Arturo Mayorga coming into the final complex here. Wow. Whew. I will say, calling this race, it's got the throat dry. Need some water here, because that was a lot going on the last lap. You can see 0.9 seconds separating Marion Barbaro and Schroeder. 0.7 Patrick Olson behind Barbaro. You have 0.159 and 0.159 behind Beezer and behind Shanna for 10th, 11th, and 12th. So this sprint race, all these drivers are super close after 21 laps, only being within a second of each other. The sprint race is going to be real close. Only going to be, I think it's 5 laps for the sprint. Here we go. We are getting our, I believe, our warm-up laps in here. Yep, there we go. Warm-up laps are going to start. We have 5 minutes here, so I'm going to set you guys on break for just a moment. We're going to do our extreme commercial one last time for the stream, and then we will be back, and I'm going to grab myself some water, so you guys just tune in. I'm going to put our results up as well. I'll be right back.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Alright, we are back after a little bit of water. We don't have too many people out on track right now during the warm-up phase, so watch who is out there. Alexander Shanna. Gonna get some warm-up with the current fuel. Gonna be a slight different than a little bit off track getting back on there. Gonna be slightly different than what they had towards the end of the race. Cold tires as well, so good idea to get yourself some practice. Looks like Nick Marshall's also out there in that beautiful Blue Frog livery. I love following these dynamic cameras around. Great angles. We take a look at our results from the first part of our race here. We have Easton Chiapolone taking the win. James Miller taking second. Danny O'Keefe taking another Silverstone podium. O'Keefe showing just how quick he is at this track. Season 2, I believe he did the same thing. Season 1, I'm not sure if he was around, but Season 3 as well. So he's showing he is a force to be reckoned with at Silverstone. Jake Potts in 4th for Knox, getting some good points for the Knox team. Weston Epps finishing outside the points. See if he can get something done in the sprint race. Lucas Lins 5th for Capral team. Capral team is currently sitting 4th in the constructors standings, so we will see they can get some more points as well. He's the only Capral team member up in the points. Jeff Schroeder for Lumos U Motorsports. Lumos getting one more point with Alexander Shanna down in 10th. So some okay points there for Lumos this week. Get Good Racing Marion Barbaro down 7th, not where he wanted to be. He had the pace to be up a little higher. I think a couple mistakes dragged him down to 7th, and missing their main weapon, Tieko Krigsman, is going to be hurting. Normally they're getting double points with Marion and Tieko, and Jack Clark pulling up the rear sometimes with some points down in the 10th to 8th place range, but not this week. The only one, Marion Barbaro. Patrick Olson, Team Banana, 8th, getting a few points for the Team Banana. Andy Ray Miller, Privateer running. He is going to get a couple points for himself there. Alexander Shanna, once again, 1 point for him, for Lumos. Our non-point getters, Frank Beezer, Ricardo Marchi, John Journey, Joaquin Flode, Mignon Turvo. Arturo Mayorga, Jack Clark, Luke Mitchell, Weston Epps, Randolph Smith, Yalmer Alberg, Tristan Marshall. Rounds out, drivers, and we are going to be going into our the start of our session here in just a moment. A couple cars out on track. Barbaro just coasting around. Yalmer Alberg doing his thing, coasting around, getting feel for the cold tires we're about to see here. And out front we have Ricardo Marchi starting. Behind him we have Shanna in second starting, and Frank Beezer in front of him. Actually, Frank Beezer will be starting in second. Marchi in first, Beezer in second, Shanna in third. This will be our top 3. Olson in 4th, Andy Ray Miller in 5th. Feature going to be going live here in just a moment. Lucas Lynn's up front. Waiting on a couple more cars here. Here we go. We are just a few seconds away from lights out, and we are lights out. We have a good jump from Ricardo Marchi. Ooh, and Frank Beezer gets a terrible jump. Shanna right behind Marchi. Miller right behind Shanna. Great couple of corners here to start. Shanna and Marchi pulling away slightly, but side-by-side action all over. Lockups in turn 1. Ooh, no. That is Jeff Schroeder going off track and getting hung up with a couple other cars. Looks like Lucas Lins. Patrick Olson up a couple places. Jake Potts up a couple places. Jan Turvo dropping back. Who is dropping back? Andy Ray Miller Randolph Smith, Arturo Mayorga dropping back as well. Miller, ooh, some big damage from him, but we have Marchi and Alexander Shanna going at it right here, and Shanna right up the bumper of Marchi. Try and get a pretty good view of the two side by side here. We just could not get that camera working there. And Shanna, wow, right up the bumper of Marchi. This is the great thing about these sprint races. We have cars being a little more aggressive than we're used to seeing them. You see Barbaro, Patrick Olson, Jake Potts, and Chia Pallone behind. All within less than a second. What a DRS train. I say DRS train, but it's really just a slipstream train, as we see all the way from first down to this is 6th place. Ooh, and we have a little bit of a going wide. Oh, it looks like the first two drivers, Ricardo De Marchi and Alexander Shanna, both have a slowdown penalty coming up here. Patrick Olson might as well, as he's going very slow in 5th. Oh, and this is going to be close. Teammates coming up behind him. Shanna and Marchi are going to have to slow down sometime here. Marchi, ooh, it looks like they might get penalized, and they come out really slow. Ooh, almost some contact there between the cars. Wow, slowdowns for Marchi and Shanna come to the wire before there is a penalty, and it looks like they are both okay to keep going. Shanna and Chia Pallone now down the straight. Bunch of cars down the back. Going side by side. Weston Epps up from 19th place up into 9th. Shanna and Chia Pallone trying to fight it out here side by side. Closest battle on track. Weston Epps as well, side by side. Let's see if Shanna and Chia Pallone can stick it going side by side into Cops, and Shanna's able to. Goes a little bit wide. Chia Pallone going to pull away from him now. Let's see if Epps does the same thing. Epps gets the move done and gets by Jan Turbo there, but Flodman, we got 3-car pile. It's not even a pile, it's just a jam of cars in front of them. So many people just on top of each other. It's not a race of attrition like the rest of the series. Wow, just cars piling out on top of each other. This is just amazing to see. Little group of 3 up front here. Marchi making a move on the inside of Shanna. Can't make it stick. Shanna keeps in front of Marchi. We have Barbaro making the move on Olson. Olson, can he stick it on the inside? Epps as well on Flodman. Team Banana really trying to get some extra points here in the sprint race, but really under siege by some of these drivers. Olson under siege. Epps under siege. Shanna right here under siege by Marchi. Olson also side by side. There's too much going on track here. Incredible racing. Ooh, some lockups there. There's 8 cars within a second of each other here. Patrick Olson leading that pack. Marchi by Shanna now. Shanna going to fight back, but Olson leading him 2 by 2 going down into Brooklands here. They only have a couple laps left. Halfway through the sprint race now. Side by side, Patrick Olson, he's going to be able to make it stick. Epps has a little more speed out of the corner. Will Epps be able to get it done in Cops again? Shanna and Marchi going side by side. Olson and Epps going side by side. Camera angles are a little rough right here. Might have to go to, never had to. Let's hit this dynamic TV mode here. Watch these cars from a little bit of a farther angle, because this is hard to keep up with those zoomed in angles on the broadcast. See Barbaro right in that slipstream. Shanna not giving up on Marchi, and we have Potts up in first, being chased down by Chia Pallone, our race winner. I get this sprint done as well. Prix right behind him. Shanna behind them, followed by the convoy. Epps, Olsen, Barbaro, Flodman, Molaire. A few spaces back here. Cars just giving each other zero room as we see Barbaro on the inside of Olsen. Ooh, Olsen locks it up. Actually, it might be Flodman. There's too many banana cars right on top of each other here. But this is, look at how close these cars are. Everybody within less than a half a second of each other. Really tight racing in this sprint. We're in lap 4 of 5. Fantastic view there down the back straight. Everybody's fighting for, you know, one person could wreck out and you suddenly are in the points. These cars are so close on top of each other. It's amazing. Here we are, Chiappellone only 0.3 seconds back from Potts, and Potts is up. Let's see if Potts is going to be able to defend. Ooh, pushes Chiappellone a little bit wide. F's on Shanna right now, 0.9 back from Shanna. Shanna might have some damage from that turn 1 incident with Marchi sliding up into him. Olsen right here, and this is starting to show that, you know, F's is supposed to be up front. Shanna's supposed to be mid-pack. See Olsen following Epps, keeping right on his bumper. You see Beezer letting Marchi by. Shanna right behind them. Weston Epps right behind Shanna. This is final lap of the race. Sprint race is already almost over. Can't wait to see this ending as we see Chiappellone 0.2 seconds back from Potts. Is Potts going to be able to pull away? Chiappellone trying to get a better exit, but Potts pulling out of the slipstream. Chiappellone gets way over. Is he going to be able to get a better entrance than Potts? Potts has better entrance, but Pallone has better exit. Ooh, as we see a couple cars behind getting a little squirrely in Olsen, Barbaro, Flodman. Still don't know who's going to take, you know, back from 3rd all the way down to 9th here. Not quite side by side. Chiappellone and Potts going at it up front. Sliding around, Maggots, Beckett's. Who's going to get the better release? And it looks like Chiappellone's going to get the better release. Can he get far enough into that slipstream and pass Potts in the last sector? Let's check same thing for... Ooh, Epps goes off. Comes back on the track. He's going to have a slow down for that. And Olsen's going to take that position from him. Like we said, anything can happen in this sprint, especially being so close to each other. Chiappellone and Potts going into the final section here. Ooh, Potts dives deep. Chiappellone. Ooh, can he get the run on him? It's a race to the line. Jake Potts just beats out Chiappellone 87/100ths of a second. Marchi in 3rd, Shanna in 4th, Olsen 5th, Flodman 6th, Luke Mitchell in 7th, Jan Turvo 8th, Danny O'Keefe in 9th, and John Journey in 10th. What a finish there. Oh my. That was a lot of craziness at the end. I was not expecting this sprint race to be that close. Wow. Just a great finish there. A couple more drivers coming across. But wow, what a finish. Jake Potts takes the win here. He is gonna take the 10 points for the sprint race. Chiapolone taking 9, making some fast work of the AM division. Chiapolone pro driver, switched to AM due to the pro division closing down, but we love having him. Introduce some great competition into the league. Ricardo Marchi getting 3rd, Alexander Shanna in 4th, Patrick Olson 5th, Joaquin Flodman 6th, Luke Mitchell 7th, Jan Turvo 8th, Danny O'Keefe once again recovering from a turn 1 incident, getting some great result there, getting a couple extra points for his team in P9. John Journey rounding off the Lumos team in P10. That's going to be it for points. The rest is history. You can see there, Nick Marshall in 12th, Tristan Marshall 13th, Mayorga 14th, Alberg 15th, Ayala, Link, Barbaro, Moller, Beezer 16th through 20th, Jeff Schroeder 21st in lap 1 incident, Randolph Smith a lap 1 incident as well. That's it. That's Silverstone. We are packed up heading to Red Bull Ring next in round 6. We hope to see everybody there. If you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe. We'd love to see you guys each week. And don't forget, visit our Capral Sim Racing sponsor. They are great for anything sim racing gear that you need. I believe it is capralstore.com. And then Extreme Scoring. Don't forget to check them out. They are the best when it comes to anything that has to do with running a league, from paints to points to running stuff on the back end, keeping things organized. If you need it, they have it. Extreme Scoring, they run our league for me. It's fantastic. Then obviously Butt Kicker, our big one. Butt Kicker, they will they are surprising us with some prizes this season. 3 Butt Kicker units that we're going to be able to send out, so thank you guys for that. If you haven't, check them out at buttkicker.com. And if you want to join in, hop on a track race with us, iFormulaLeague.com is where you go, right there on the screen. We'll catch you guys next time in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Till then, see you next time.